Emily possessed the most gifted hands in the industry. She was a three-time international gold medalist in hair design. Her fingertips seemed to possess a natural ruler. With just a glance at a person's profile and skull structure, she could precisely sculpt a hairstyle that perfectly matched their bone structure and aura. Every cut was exact, nothing redundant, everything exquisite. This was her first time starting a business. She bet everything she had, all her prize money from competitions, all her savings from years of work, dumping it all into this street-side salon. Even the scissors in her hand were top-tier luxury tools, costing more than what an average person earns in 2 weeks. She firmly believed that true craftsmanship would never be buried, but reality gave her a brutal slap in the face. The street had plenty of foot traffic, but people preferred to crowd into the quick-cut shop next door. They were happy to spend $15 for a good-enough haircut, simple, cheap, and fast. Emily, on the other hand, had lowered her price to $30, the absolute lowest she could handle, just to attract some customers to her new shop. Yet, after being open for more than a month, her place remains virtually deserted. Every day she wiped down those expensive but dusty tools, watching the numbers in her bank account shrink. The rent notices piled up on the corner of her desk, and her heart sank a little lower each day. Countless late nights, she asked her reflection in the mirror, in this era where people only care about price, is top-tier craftsmanship really worthless? On a rainy afternoon, she finally gripped a handwritten "store for transfer" sign. Her knuckles were white as she prepared to tape it to the door. Just then, the door was pushed open. The wind chimes rang. In walked an elderly man with sharp eyes and impeccable dress. He was a wealthy friend Emily had known for years. He didn't mention a haircut. Instead, he walked slowly to the display shelf and stared at the 3 gold trophies covered in a thin layer of dust. He looked at them for a long time. Finally, he turned around and said just one sentence to Emily. "You are using the mindset of a gold medal tailor to sell cheap fabric. In this location, no one lacks a pair of scissors that can cut hair, but everyone lacks the certainty that their hair won't be ruined." Before Emily could react, the old man grabbed the price list from the counter that read "haircuts starting at $30" and tossed it straight into the trash can. He picked up a piece of chalk, walked to the blackboard outside the shop, and wrote a sentence in bold, powerful strokes that instantly shocked the whole street. "We serve only those who seek perfection. The basic service is valued at $30. Pay what you feel it's worth after you are satisfied. If you are unsatisfied in any way, you pay nothing. And we will pay you $20 cash on the spot as compensation for wasting your time." Emily's hands couldn't stop shaking. $30 is already my cost baseline, she stammered. Now not only might I earn nothing, but I have to pay them. This is insanity. I can barely pay the rent. This will only make me go bankrupt faster. The old man looked at her, his eyes calm and certain. "Trust your skills, but more importantly, trust that business requires strategy." The next day, that blackboard sparked a frenzy of discussion on the street. The first person to push open the door was a middle-aged man in a crisp suit looking nervous. He had a crucial funding meeting the next day. Clearly the bold promise on the board, "If unsatisfied, we pay you $20, had hooked him and lowered his guard. Emily initiated the second step the old man taught her, shift from selling a service to selling status. Emily didn't ask, "How do you want it cut?" like she used to. Instead, she pulled out a precise image diagnosis checklist. She asked about his profession, his social circle, and the first impression he wanted to leave. She wasn't just cutting hair, she was designing a social business card for him. Emily took a deep breath, suppressed her anxiety, and unleashed her gold medal skills. She quietly observed the cut of his suit, the color of his tie. For 30 minutes the scissors danced in her fingers, sculpting with precision. Not a single movement was wasted. When the customer stood in front of the mirror and saw the sharp, powerful, slicked-back style, he froze. The man in the mirror seemed reborn. The anxiety was gone, replaced by an overwhelming sense of confidence and authority. He didn't mention the $20 compensation. He didn't even hesitate. He pulled $30 out of his wallet and then added a massive tip, saying, "This is the best investment I've ever made. For this quality, $30 is a steal." That day, Emily finally understood the old man's words. She voluntarily took on the risk that customers feared most. A bad cut, a disaster, wasted time. From that moment on, her skill was no longer a commodity with a price tag. It became a scarce guarantee that gave customers peace of mind. For the next week, a long line formed outside Emily's shop. A month later, she launched Step 2, filtering and upgrading. She raised the base price from $30 directly to $60 and announced, I only personally cut hair for 5 clients a day, no exceptions. She thought this would scare customers away, but this extreme scarcity triggered an even bigger frenzy. People stopped caring about the price and fought to book a slot just to get a haircut from her personally. But what truly exploded her wealth was step 3. Emily realized that the people willing to pay for a great hairstyle were mostly elites and business professionals. They didn't just need a haircut, they needed high-end scalp care, anti-aging treatments, and overall image management. She was no longer just a craftsman cutting hair. She became a private visual consultant for the elite. She introduced top-tier scalp care and even skincare products, profiting from peripheral products as well. She also launched monthly subscription-based scalp anti-aging and customized image styling packages for business executives. By relying on high-demand image services to lock in long-term clients, the stable long-term cooperation increased back-end profits tenfold. Furthermore, she reached a cooperation with the high-end clothing store next door to mutually refer customers and share profits. She went from a craftsman on the brink of bankruptcy to the most envied business winner on the street. And all this change happened not because she bought more expensive scissors, but because she changed her mindset. She stopped selling her skills with physical labor and started doing business by understanding human nature. She finally understood. When you are haggling with a customer over a few dollars, it's never because the customer is stingy. It's because the value you provide isn't enough to make them feel like they are getting a massive bargain. Did you understand the lesson? Emily's success wasn't because she changed her tools, but because she changed her head. She transformed from a laborer, selling time, to a business designer, mastering human nature. If you also have a talent but struggle to monetize it, leave your skill in the comments below. And if you want to keep growing in this fast-moving world, make sure to follow us.